Hello, my name is Chris, and this is the Authority on Zero. So I'm currently driving, and it's going to be the first video that I've ever made for this channel. I'll upload it later, but I'm driving to Chicago from Indiana, so got some time. But basically, my goal is just to talk and vlog and all that good stuff. I've always wanted to do this, and I never did. I kind of watched Henry Rollins talk about some stuff, and it kind of made me realize that I just need to do it. Like, I just need to go out there and try and put this into the ether, put it into the universe, and see what happens with it. So talk about all kinds of stuff, because again, I am the authority on zero, right? Yeah. Anyway, I'm sitting here and I was thinking about all this. Been thinking about life, kind of going through some stuff, right? And just kind of destroying some generational abuse. And I think we're at a point in time where there's a lot of this going on. There's a lot of people who realize that their parents were treated like shit, and their parents' parents were probably treated like shit, and that whole thing just kept passing down from one generation to the next, and then it hit us, right? And we don't want to be those people, because clearly love is a better way to do things, but we also took some shots, right? So in doing so, I started practicing, some changes, spiritual changes, life changes, lifestyle changes, physical fitness changes, just becoming physically active. I wouldn't say I'm physically fit, but becoming physically active. Creating physical changes, through weight loss, things like that, building muscle. And made me realize that there's some other things that need to change, and the macro mannerisms that I keep, my patience, and how that's like a lifelong lesson for me, and how that needs to change, right? And then I started asking some questions, and I started realizing that I was maybe asking the wrong questions, right? Maybe I was asking the wrong people those questions. Maybe I was taking the wrong advice. I was like, well, what would I like to see? What would I like to be a part of? How would I like to act? How would I like to behave? How would I like to enjoy the rest of my life? I'm 37, so I'm at a halfway point, right? If I make it to 74, that's half my life. So now I'm getting down to the last 50%, 60% of my life. And if I have a full lifespan, and I started asking who I am. Who am I? And that's a question that I think might be the wrong question to ask. I don't know. Actually, for me, I know that it's the wrong question to ask. For you, I don't know. But for me, I know that it is. It's a vain question, right? Because there's no way to answer it. So I say, who am I? Say, okay, well, I'm a brother. Okay, well, that's what I am. It's not who I am. It's part of my identity. Is that I have a family, sister and nieces and all that. I'm married. I don't have kids, but secondary family, I guess. I have a mother and a father, so I'm a son. That's also what I am, not who I am. I train people how to operate heavy equipment. Also, what I am, not who I am. And I could answer, I am Chris. Alright, but who is Chris? Chris is. And then it all comes down to what Chris is. And then I realized that I'm just one great big what, and not a big who, right? And the only real way to answer this is I am. Who are you, Chris? I am. That's the only thing that I can answer. I can tell you what I am all day. I'm many things. I wear many hats, many faces. But who I am is so much harder to answer. And I found that the only answer I can answer is I am. And then even if I am, that can't be the right thing, because then I'm aware of what it is. So I can say I am a soul, but again, that's a what. Soul is a what, not a who. Right? So who am I? And I just don't have an answer for that, right? I'm just so uncertain and unsure. And I don't know, I've become okay with this, right? Because I found, so I weighed like close to 340 pounds, and I've weighed close to 350 pounds. And now I'm under the weight of 300 pounds, right? And in losing weight and things like that, I had such a hard time. I struggled with identity. The reason I struggled with my identity was because I just wrapped my body image and my face and all that stuff with my identity, right? And my profession with my identity, and my status as a family person in my identity. I'm an uncle. At one point I was a husband. At one point, I've been a lot of things, and all those things somehow get wrapped up into my identity. And I'm like, well, also probably not the case, right? Because oh goodness, gotta pay attention to traffic for a second. My who I am and my identity, I believe they go hand in hand, but also maybe they don't. I don't know, right? Because even my identity is a matter of what and not a matter of who. I have a name, but outside of that, I don't feel my existence up until this point has been much of anything. It's been a matter of ongoing events and living with pain that you don't want to live with, or that I don't want to live with, rather. I have a bad habit of saying you, making it a generalism when I'm really talking about I, right? And then that's a way that I escape my emotions. I try, because even that smile right there, right? I try to escape them rather than feel them and understand them and be done with them. So I don't know, what I'm realizing this past week is that I'm not the what's. I'm not the hows, not the where, not the why. I have my why, and my why is flexible, because what my why is today is not going to be my why tomorrow. And that's the hard thing, right? Is what works for me today isn't going to work for me tomorrow. That's why we have to evolve. That's why I have to evolve. So I'm just babbling, saying a bunch of shit that people already know. But it kind of feels good to talk about this stuff, this very nonchalant, non-scripted, off the cusp little vlog I'm doing, because, hey man, I'll be real with you, I don't know what I'm doing here. I know that I've wanted to do this for so long, and every time I try to make it happen, I'll be like, okay, let me come up with a script, let me come up with a topic, and it falls through. I never do it because I just get nervous, or I feel like I can't do it, or whatever. And today I'm just doing it. So no matter how shitty this first episode is, or how good some people might think it is, it's just going out into the ether, man. Like, I'm putting it out there into the world, like, just because, like, I want to start talking to the world, and I want to start communicating with it, and I realize that life is so big and the world is so big, and while I'm so small, fragile, vulnerable, I'm also big, because I am the universe. The universe is me. We're one. We're the same thing, right? I and I. I am you, and you are me, and it's a beautiful ride that we get to take together in this time, because we just happen to be sharing the same space. And we can talk about space, we can talk about time, we can talk about the movement of time, we can talk about many things, and I hope there's plenty of subjects that I get to talk about as we go on, and I can express some of my views, spirituality and things like that with you. But yes, so I'm coming to realize identity and who I am right now are just not important things for me. They're not as important as the self-improvement, the self-sufficiency, and the self-benevolence that I need to practice. Just practicing the self for a while, and sometimes I go quiet, sometimes I shy away from people, because I become overwhelmed with emotions, right? I started practicing stoicism to help me with this, and then sometimes I still just go back to old habits because it's easier. And I hate it. I dislike that I do it, rather. I'm not going to use such strong terms, but I dislike the fact that even though I practice stoicism, and I know what to do in a situation, that I revert back to that reptilian brain, and I give my control away, right? Epictetus talks about this a lot, of giving away your power, giving away your control, and kind of going into that infantile brain, that reptilian brain, as I just mentioned, because you're overwhelmed, and if you're overwhelmed, that means that you bypassed a lot of points where you had the opportunity to not become overwhelmed in the future. And I definitely have. I chose to remain silent on a lot of issues, and force myself to become unhappy, and that's not really what a leader does. It's not what a leader of oneself would do. And it sounds like I'm being hard on myself, right? But I want to express something, that it's not really being hard on myself, it's being self-aware of myself, right? And that's the capital S self, not the lowercase self, but the capital S, the thing that is Chris, right? We'll just call it Chris. I know when I talk to people, a lot of people will say, you're really hard on yourself. And I don't feel that I am. I feel that I'm just pretty honest with myself. You know, I feel that I'm capable of generating some pretty awesome things for myself, and I'm capable of doing more things for myself, and therefore I don't need to what's the word? How do I want to say this? I can generate bigger things for myself, and I know I can. So, you know, I guess I don't see a need to be hard on myself, right? If I know I'm capable of it, I'm not really being hard on myself. I'm just being honest with myself that, hey, I can do this. And I think sometimes we get wrapped up in that, you know, that silliness of can I do it? Can I not do it? And then we don't try because there's that irresistible force trying to move that immovable object. So, butting heads, right? We have two things that are butting heads, and it's unnecessary. So, yeah, it's self-awareness. And I kind of can't wait to watch this again to see how off track I've gotten. But yeah, so we've talked about the who and the what, right? We know those are separate, and we know the who just seems to tend to lead to what's, and it seems existential, like an existential crisis. Like, well, if I have so many what's and I don't have a who, this seems pretty rough to deal with. And it was for me, I tell you. I was going through some major crisis mode stuff. Just tripping over this, like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing here, you know. I'm freaking out. And it took a lot to get me to calm down, just because of how nervous I was over this whole who am I thing. It brought on terrible anxiety, and you know, it made me resentful, it made me bitter a little bit, you know, or I allowed it to, rather. It's not like it made me, but I allowed these unchecked emotions to come into play, and the next thing I know, I'm stressing something I don't need to stress, you know. So, yeah. On that note, I'm going to stop here. So I've made it to Chicago.